Join Tim and Kristina Madden, co-founders of Executive Career Upgrades, on their podcast, the Executive Career Upgrades Podcast. As an executive in today's highly competitive job market, it can be tough to succeed. However, with Tim's nationally recognized career advice and Kristina's mindset expertise, you can reach your full potential. Tune in to upgrade your career and get ahead of the competition.
All right. How is everyone doing today? Hey, welcome to the Executive Career Upgrades Podcast. Hey, if you don't know me, my name is Tim Madden, and we help professionals on all things career, and we have a great topic for you today. Can't wait to get into it. I love talking about this topic. Hey, we go live each week inside the Executive Career Network. Check us out. Fastest growing career network over on Facebook, approaching 11,000 directors, VPs, and executives from across the U.S. and the globe. Hey, if you're watching in the ECN, say hi in the comments. I am monitoring them. Also to our friends over on LinkedIn and YouTube, I am monitoring that chat as well. And as always, you could be listening to this on iTunes or Spotify or someone else on the internet. Hope you get some value from this episode. Hey, do me a favor. As always, if I give you anything of value, leave us a review over on iTunes or on Spotify, or more importantly, send this to a friend. I don't know about you, but I like to make success extremely easy for myself and for my team. And I'm going to give you some practical tips today on how to do that. So, as always, hey, thank you again for all the support on my new book over on Amazon, Discipline Equals Dream Job. We did it. I am officially an Amazon best-selling author. So if you were looking to upgrade your career, or if you need someone else who knows they need to upgrade their career, go on over to Amazon and pick up a copy of this book. Some of the tactics and strategies are shared exactly that we teach here inside the Executive Career Upgrades in many of our programs. So definitely go get this book, Discipline Equals Dream Job, over on Amazon. And as always, if you need help in your career, go to execupgrades.com/podcast. So let's get into this episode this week. But first, no, wait, there's one more thing. Thank you, Luther. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm glad you got value from the book. Mr. Farah, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Hey, before we get started on this topic, one more thing. Because I was talking to someone who graduated, if you will, that is now a part of our alumni network here at Executive Career Upgrades, who just got placed last week. And I have to tell this story a little bit because this is a common theme here. Is we meet with professionals looking to upgrade their career. So this is my first tip for you today before we get into the topic, right? This individual was unemployed for 4 months, had already reached out to his network, and was just frustrated in his career search. But in a matter of a little over 2 months of working together, he has now not only found his, a really great role for him, but he has other offers in the pipeline as well, because he was able to leverage his network. So if you're an individual that's in a career search right now and you're saying, hey, Tim, I've already reached out to my network, nobody can help me. Hey, it would be extremely rare if you've been in business for 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 years that you don't have people right now who could potentially help you in your career. So just some food for thought. So be looking for some more networking stuff coming out soon, because your ability to network effectively with people you already know and don't know is one of the sure ways where you're going to reach these higher levels in corporate America. Because let's be honest, right? What are the odds of you going on Indeed, submitting an app for a position that pays $400K, right? Literally probably impossible, right? We know we need to get in front of people that can hire us, people that can advocate for us. And congrats to this individual who, hey, we're still pending that offer. So I'm not going to say his name yet, because I know a lot of people listen to this podcast. But hey, I truly do wish you the best of luck. And I'm really glad you learned how to network and collaborate with other people. Kudos to you. Episode 93, inspiring trust through authenticity and how to lead with impact. So let me give you kind of a definition real quick. Inspiring through authenticity as an executive is essential for building strong relationships with your team, colleagues, and stakeholders. Okay. When you're authentic, you demonstrate sincerity, transparency, and integrity, which fosters a positive work environment and encourages others to follow your lead. And then now we're going to go into some ways to inspire that trust through authenticity as a leader. But the first thing I want to tell you, okay, is we have a saying from one of our mentors that love ain't lies, right? Love ain't lies, which means if you are a leader, you have to love people. You have to, right? And you have to know that people are going to make mistakes, and you have to know that you need to hold your team and your organization to the highest standards possible, okay? So with that being said, love ain't lies. So if you truly love people, right? Love your team, love your company, well, then when people aren't following the standard, okay, you need to let them know that. Make sense? Right? So if you really love your team, you should have high standards for your team, for your company, for the people that you do business with. And we're going to get into a couple ways to do that. The first one, okay, is to lead by example if you are a leader. So we need to model the behavior we want to see in others. And I know we have a lot of bosses around there that don't typically do that. Okay. If I'm always coming to the office late, if I'm always leaving earlier than I'm supposed to, if I'm not in the right uniform, if I'm not doing the right things, why should I have anybody else? Right? Most of the time, I'm sure you've all heard that term, do as I say, not as I do. That is completely incorrect, okay, to build trust in your team. So you need to ask yourself and do a self-assessment, which we talked about 30 days ago, right? A self-assessment on yourself. Are you someone you would follow? Are you someone you would follow? Are you modeling the behavior that you want to see in your team? Are you displaying ethical conduct? Are you upholding company values? Are you demonstrating consistency in your actions? Or do you treat this person a little different than this person, a little different than this person? Okay? Because when your team starts actually seeing you like act with integrity, they're going to trust you more, respect you more, and be bought into the mission more. So if you're a leader right now at whatever level and you're having like people problems, okay, you probably aren't doing all of the tactical strategies I'm going to share with you. So first one, right? First one, lead by example. Okay. Number two, very important as well. Admit mistakes and take responsibility. Nobody is perfect. The board's not perfect. The CEO's not perfect. The CFO, the middleman, nobody is perfect. And as an executive, you are going to make mistakes, period, end of story. When that happens, though, you have to take responsibility and be accountable for your actions. Admitting your errors and learning from them shows humility and reinforce trust. And this is something I try to do outside all of the businesses that we operate in, right? Is when I make mistakes, just own up to it. You know, in hindsight, I shouldn't have done that. I probably should have done this, and you were right. I know you kind of said that we shouldn't for these reasons, and hey, I'm sorry, right? Being truthful to the team will always serve you extremely well, right? When leaders are making excuses or passing the blame on other people, you're going to lose some trust and respect from your team. So avoid that at all costs. But to truly start inspiring your team to trust you more, you need to be clear about like, what is your vision for that business unit or the company, depending on your level? What are the values that drive your decisions? Most people don't understand their leader. When your team actually understands your motivations, your beliefs, they are more likely to align with your goals and trust your leadership. And of course, we have to communicate openly, right? We have to encourage open and honest communication. We have to share our thoughts and concerns with the team. We got to be receptive to their feedback. We have to listen actively and demonstrate, your value, their opinions and perspectives, right? I want to create a place about collaboration. What about you? Because I know I'm smart enough to know I don't know anything. And I may hire someone that I'm very much senior to. That does not mean that I shouldn't listen to that person. That person may have a different perspective, a different way of doing things. Maybe they did it differently at the last organization they're in, right? So be open to communicate and be genuine with these individuals on your team. Because again, as leaders, right, we need to make success easy for our team. But if our team doesn't know where we're going, why we're going there, why we're doing it this way, why it's going to take this long, and all the other factors, it's going to be a gigantic mess for you. So you need to empower your team. You need to trust your team members and empower them to take on responsibilities. Of course, we're going to have to delegate tasks and show confidence in their abilities, right? And by doing that, that approach is not only going to foster trust, but also motivate our team to perform at their best. But hey, do you empower your team? Do you trust them to take on more responsibilities? Does your team, when an issue arises, already say, hey, Tim, this is the issue that we had. Wanted to let you know we already resolved it. Here's how we resolved it. If you have any questions, let me know. Those are people I want on the team, right? Not people who have problems making simple decisions, right? I think that's one of the big problems with corporate America right now. A lot of senior leaders, middle management, and other individuals, it's so hard to make a decision and it's so hard to stay on track. And when their leaders are trying to do everything on their own and not empowering their team, it makes their job 10 times more difficult while nothing getting done. So remember that. And when you empower the team and when they do a good job, you need to recognize and appreciate others. You need to acknowledge and appreciate the efforts of our team members while still recognizing their hard work and achievement to build trust and morale. That's what I try to do here at Executive Career Upgrades, right? We have this fun little wrestling belt on our sales team where the top leader gets it and we put their name on it at the end. We have monthly bonuses, yearly bonuses. We have a trip that we're taking, to a resort later this month, right? So what are you doing for your team? Do you have incentives? Are you trying to make it fun, right? Because you can still push people hard and still have fun while doing it, right? So make sure you're recognizing and appreciating others. Now, it doesn't always need to be big bonuses and big trips, right? Some of the best things that I have, right, are simply a certificate, right, for doing a good job right here, or being featured somewhere, or my stuff in the military, right? So just remember, sometimes a certificate or a little gift or something, a plaque or something along those lines goes a long way and is extremely cost effective. Okay. And during this whole time, you have to be accessible and approachable, right? I've always learned this in the military, right? Always had like an open door policy where anyone who's on my team or business unit, right, they can approach me with questions, concerns, or ideas. I want that, right? And I want being accessible and approachable builds trust and encourages honest communication. So I would say, hey, does your team feel that way? Can they approach you with things that are happening in their personal life, things that are happening outside of work, things that are happening with work, things that are happening with other employees? If not, it's going to be very difficult to build that positive work culture environment at your next company. And a part of that culture and a part of building trust in your team is supporting a work-life balance, showing empathy and understanding towards your team work-life balance needs. And a supportive and caring attitude fosters a good environment, right? So how do you communicate with people when they're not feeling well, when someone passes away, when they have to take a unexpected trip, or whatever the case may be, right? We need to make sure that we're supporting, as a leader, we're supporting our people to say, hey, we are going to work hard while we're at work, but I want you to do other things outside of work. How many times have you told people that you manage this, right? I talk about what our individuals do outside of work all the time, right? I want to support that work-life balance because I know to have a successful life, if you will, we have to move our body a little bit. We have to, develop ourselves every day through a myriad of things. We have to have good relationships with our family and our significant other and in the community. And I know that if people that I manage are doing those things outside of work, right, it's already going to be, right, they're going to be a better employee for you. They're going to work harder. They're going to trust you more. You're going to be able to trust them more, right? So take a special interest into making sure, hey, it's okay to work hard while you're at work, but I want people on the teams I manage, right, to go do other things outside of work because I know that that's just going to make them overall more fulfilled and more purposeful. So remember, okay, building trust through authenticity is a never-ending, ongoing process. But we have to continually demonstrate these qualities, which I'm going to recap over time, and your team and colleagues will come to rely on your leadership, trust, and decisions. So my first role after the military I worked at, right? I was a director of operations, and I remember being on a call where a lot of other of the ops leaders at different locations, right, were having like an attendance problem. And they would complain about it on every call, right? Like, I'm having problems getting people to show up for work. And this just completely baffled me, right? Because I come from the military where if you don't show up, someone's banging on your door, right? Wondering if you're okay or, it's not good, right? So know that in the military, you can't miss any days. So when I first transitioned, this was kind of a foreign concept to me, right? Like people just not showing up to work. And it was kind of a big deal. And I know that in those areas, it was because of the culture. Who is the culture led by? It's led by the leaders, right? So just know right now, if you're having problems in your business unit, it's probably because of you. Sorry to give you the cold hard truth, right? Because you are the person in charge. You can't blame it on the team. You can't blame it on outside factors. You are in charge of that team. So I would just ask you this question. Are you doing what I went over today to build trust through your team to make your team better? Are you being genuine? Are you communicating openly? Are you leading by example? Probably not. Are you admitting mistakes and taking responsibility when it's your fault? Are you consistently sharing the vision and values every single day on why we're doing what we're doing? Are you empowering your team? Are you giving them opportunities, right? Are you appreciating them? Are you easily approachable? Do you support work-life balance? Do you demonstrate empathy, right? Are you empathetic towards your team members' challenges and experiences, maybe in their personal life or in the business? Show that you genuinely care about their well-being and growth. You need to master leadership. Maybe not master, but you need to get better at it every single day. It makes your job tremendously easier. Success is then easier for your team. You're crushing your goals, okay? And everyone loves coming to work. Would anyone work in an environment that is not that way? Probably not, right? So remember, these are skills that you need to develop over time. There's only one way to develop them. You need to get the knowledge, and then you need to put the knowledge to action. So first, step one. Remember I said, don't worry about the how, worry about what's the first step to getting started. And if you haven't read the book by John Maxwell, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect, that would be an amazing first start. He goes in to talk about that book of why there's so many problems in corporate America simply because of being an effective communicator. Communication is probably one of the most important traits you could possibly have as a leader. So if you're starting your leadership self-development journey, that would be an amazing first book to start with. I highly recommend it. Read it a couple times. I know you'll enjoy it too. So, hey, until next week, if you need help in your career, go on over to execupgrades.com/podcast. And then additionally, hey, write your own leadership development plan. Remember, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Do a self-assessment. Where am I at? What am I trying to improve on? How's my team doing right now? Right? Am I doing these factors? What do I need to improve on? When you are an effective leader, not only will you impact more people, which is what I know everyone wants to do, but you will make success easy for yourself and them. So, hey, be the leader that I know you can be. Have a great day, everyone.